Masachet Hullin Daf Kufi Techima Amud Aleph. Last line by the Gemara. So we mentioned the pasuk of Gedi, the goat, teach you that he can cook milk and meat. Mina Hane Minei. How do we know that when it says Gedi, you can't cook meat and milk? It applies to other animals besides the Gedi, besides the goat. Where it says, Amar Rabbi Elazar, Amar Kla pasuk says, Ayishlach Yehuda et Gedei Ha'izim. Pasuk says, Yehuda sent the goats. Kan Gedei Ha'izim, just over there, where there's referring to goats. Ha kol makom shenemar Gedi, stam, whenever mentions just Gedi, without the word Izim, I feel para v'rachel b'mashma, it can include other animals like cows and rams. Okay, but let's maybe we should learn from there that just like over there, Gedi means goat. So wherever mentions Gedi means goats, not just um not referring to other animals. The Gemara says, "Leave kra hina." Another pasuk says, "Ve'et orot gedayeh ha'azim." Mentions it again, the skins of goats. Kind of days, just like over there is referring to goats. How come therefore other animals could be referring to um other places just as gedi that rang gazim refer to other animals as well. But let me name one of them from there. The Gemara says how the hushnei kelim ve'echad. Because now that we have two different sources of Gede Ezin to teach you that it means specifically goats over there and other places where it mentions Gedi, like Basar Halav, does not necessarily mean not restricted to only goats. You have two sources, and therefore you have two sources to teach you the same thing. Whenever I have two Pesukim teaching you one thing, you cannot teach it elsewhere. Right? It's a famous concept. The Torah knows when it's saying something about A, B, or C, and if it says it once, you might be able to learn elsewhere. When it says it twice, we cap it there. So this is according to an opinion that says if it has two sources, you can't learn it elsewhere. Whereas it says, that makes sense opinion. That makes sense according to the opinion holds that if there's two sources, you can't learn it elsewhere. As the Mar has another opinion that says, no, then you still can learn it. You need three. What does he say? Because now we could read it as exclusionary terms. Aizim ha'izim Torah Quran goats instead of wrote ha'izim the goats, excluding other animals. Amar Shmuel says, Gedi mentions goat. The Rabbot of the Haila is a teacher that the Haila is also Asur. Gedi mentions the goat again. The Rabbot the Metati, even if it died without Shechita, it's also Asur. Gedi again. The Rabbot the Shadit to include even the meat of the fetus if it's found inside the animal. Gedi again. They'll see the Tam, teacher that the blood is not Asur, not Hayah. Gedi they'll see the Shla, Shariat, the mention goat again to exclude the placenta. Gedi they'll see the Tme'ah. Again, mention the goat to exclude a non-kosher animal, not Asur. Bahalev more from the milk of his mother to teach you. From the milk of a male animal. Somehow the male animal developed udders. I don't know if that's possible or how often that happens. بحلب الماء again with the mother. بيطلع حلب شهوتين from the milk of a slaughtered animal. بحلب الماء from the mother. بيطلع حلب زميان from the non-kosher animal. هتلاقي كتير أنا نشيتها one second. You mentioned six different ways of learning from the word Yedid, but you mentioned three times. The word says, because Shmuel Yisur Hala Yisur, Shmuel holds that an Yisur can take upon effect in another previous Yisur. And therefore, the Yisur Haleb Metav, the Yisur of Haleb and milk that died without Shechita was from one pasuk. That not also blood, like the Kusnab, the goat. We should not miss the placenta. Pir Shabamo. That's just extra. Not including the Pis pasuk, we learned it extra. You don't need a pasuk for that. Pashulu trade every two extra pasukim of the goat. The word Gidei had that about the Shadid include the fetus, but had the mouth with Metaman also excluding the non-kosher animal. Whereas with several Shmuel, the Surah Hal, the Surah means like you just said Shmuel holds. That one Yisur come out and another Yisur. Our Shmuel holds. Mishum Rabbi Azal. من أين الكوهين تماشى خاطر ما تماشى إنه تمهيدا. I didn't know that if a Kohen was tameh, ate teruma is tameh, is not chayav for eating tameh teruma. Shneimar pasuk says, "Umetu bo ki yahalu." Only if he died because he made it profaned. But after over here, because it's already the teruma is already tameh, then become tameh from him. Therefore, he's not chayav. Ibn Tamid an answer. Amma Yisur Hala Yisur really Shmuel held. As we see that there is an Yisur and Yisur in Shmuel, no, it's different. Really, he holds that an Isur takes upon a previous Isur. The Shani Hatim over there is different regarding to Tameh Kohen or Yitzruman as Tame'ah. The Meir Hana Umet because Torah excluded him by saying he should die because of it. Even they might have an answer. Ba'ama Kasvar Shmuel, any Isur has already, you hold there's no such thing as a Isur than another Isur. Shani Hachab regarding meat and milk is different. The Rabbi Rahman Agdi because Torah used the word goat to include other Yisurim like the Cheleb and Nevilah. Even with another answer. Haddide, when it's milk and meat, that's his own opinion. Haddide, when it says the other halacha regarding Terumah, that's the opinion of the rabbi who holds that Yisurim cannot take effect on top of each other. Okay. بعمل رب أحد ذوي بعرف مين رب هم بشبه حدا جدي شلون هني كمان ورث هذا you cooked meat in the milk of a female goat and they're not nursed yet so يعني never gave birth and still pregnant that considered mother's milk not necessarily it didn't give birth yet مرسى مرة متى إسرع ليش مو in fact مش شلون ست شلون بس بعد more from the mother's milk لو حصل هذا the male زي حول له عتي للحال because the male can never become mother that's why it's excluded however since this female goat even though it didn't start nursing yet given the bottom of the whole since it can become a mother a sore this Gemara will give the liberals a headache because the females will never be able to be male, and male will never be able to be female. Ibn Abbas says, next, do not care about your feelings. Ibn Abbas says, if someone cooked halal with milk, that's the East fast. But Rami says, محلوكت. Halal Marwan says, okay, you get malkut for milk and meat. Halal Rabban says, and okay, you don't get milk and meat. Then Milky, what's محلوكت yourself? The man, the Marwan, the opinion holds you get malkut for eating milk, the halal with milk. What would he say? He says, Kasavar Yisur Halal Yisur, one Yisur can have another. And therefore, the halal was previous Yisur does not stop the Yisur Milad and Milk Nine. One right look up in the house and does not allow because of our Innis Yisur, there he holds that you can't stack Yisurim, and that's why the halal was already there from before. Remember his last not true. You call my Innis Yisur Halal every house doesn't land each other. Khilad will come up everybody agrees that regarding halal that's cooked in milk of the Yisur. Sorry, not you don't know Malkut. Keep like where's the Malkut? I'll be sure if you cook it together. Mandam okay opinion holds Yahayav because for cooking Hadi Israel because it's cooking meat and milk is there's no Yisur from before. ومندم any look opinion holds no Makut. Lahi Afkar Ahmad Akhila Bashuna Yishu that's what the Torah mentioned you can't eat it by saying cooking, right? Loads of Ashila Gidi Bahalad Bimo teaches you can't eat it. So used the Pasuk used the word of uh cooking to teach you that you can't eat it. Jesus, what's given to Alak since you don't get Makut for eating it. بشو نعمل you don't get مشروط مأكول for cooking it. إيه كده أمر عند الزايد بشو كل عمل بلاقي for cooking it you don't get مأكول you do get مأكول sorry keep بلاقي بس ما خلق الآخر regarding eating it ما عندهم إنه لو كيف إنه هو don't get مأكول ده إنه يسوي على سوق because يسوي don't stack ما عندهم لو كيف إنه هو do get مأكول لا أخي أفكر رحمن الله كذا بشو that's what the Torah mentioned the word eating through the word of cooking teach you given that بشو like since you get مأكول for cooking I think I'm like you also get مأكول for eating even though they have an explanation ما أمر حدا one thing is one halacha وما حدا one thing is halacha but no halacha at all which means that what they both agree that if you cook halal with milk you're halal makut and they both agree that someone eats halal cooked with milk does not get makut the opinions is not a contradiction because they're all just saying in each case one was saying one case the other was saying another case okay متى مشاب ما حلال patur someone cooks with whey, which is like milk water, which is kind of like the watery part of the milk that comes out of the curd when you're making cheese. It's not considered halal for milk and meat cooking. Dam shebishlo b'halav, if you cook blood that you cook with milk, patur not halal for meat and milk. Ha'atzamot b'hagidim b'hakranayim b'tadvayim shebishlo b'halav, other things that are not really considered meat, like bones, sinews, horns, hooves, cooked with milk, patur not halal. Hapigul meat of kochim that became pigul, which was offered for the wrong intention for time. Notar left it overnight or too late, or time is tameh, but they cooked the milk. Hayav, you are hayav because it's still considered meat. So over here, we're seeing that you do have a scenario where milk and meat can stack on the other isurim. The Gemara says, no, hatana sabar isur hazur is according to the all that it can stack. Not a question. Okay. Hamad Vasher. Stop here. No problem. Man, man.